Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
Yeah, decent enough.
Ain't no
We
way.
cooking.
Hey, no way, Hank. How do you expect me, a tiny little meat slab, to go out there and resist all that magic?
Just do it.
Me, Cassandra's strongest warrior. Stop giving me your hardest challenges. It's literally just a piece of paint. But, nonetheless, set the scene. You have recently returned to the world of standard living, one where Cassandra and Andromache have no active sway and only occasionally seem to peer through into here. The tragedy of a recently lost brother, friend, and comrade, and the additional loss of a potential informant has devastated the party. It is a time to prepare for the upcoming journey and steel yourselves both with resources as well as with resolve.
Okay, so we're back in the normal realm, but where? I guess
In
are we
the
just
bar.
back? Okay, yeah, that's what I figured.
Well, I imagine we can't exactly get a room for the night unless we do some work in town to acquire the necessary script, so...
How much do you think you would need?
That I don't know. So I imagine a night's stay is at least covered by an honest day's work, so...
Any work that we would get at the Court of Heaven would more than cover a single night. I'm more concerned with getting more information on my home so we can leave.
Well, as I heard it from the people over at that table, the Court of Man would probably have more information for you.
He nods.
I guess we should make our way over.
For the sake of efficiency, since we don't really have much sunlight left in the day at this point, I would propose that we at least split somewhat. For instance, I
don't think you understand, Lorik. The city doesn't. If anything, it becomes more active at night. The only thing that limits us right now is our own energy. The city never stops moving. There will always be things to be done.
That's a fair point.
Well, at least
But if it becomes more active at night, when they place value on people who can actually do good work during the day?
Regardless, the point being, it's not whether or not we have many hours left in the day. We just need to find something.
Right.
You were saying?
Thank you. So the heavenly, what's it? I think I might have missed that bit.
One of the courts.
Oh,
As I understand it, there's 5 courts here. Heaven, Earth, Man, Stone, and Sea. From what I understand, they each govern a different aspect of the city.
right. So we just gotta get a job over in heaven. Sounds easy enough.
Without wanting to give everything away, I'm thinking of seeing if the Court of Earth or maybe even the Court of Sea has some work for someone like myself.
It would be good to communicate with the sailors once they're done processing through the Port of Sea so that we can deal with that. There should be money there. But again, right now, I want to get moving if we can.
Right.
Where do you reckon the nearest lead for your people would be?
Anywhere that people would be moving, talking, gossip, information travels through in networks. It's not one person that you would ask, but hundreds. So, I would say the Court of Man.
Oh, okay. Well, I reckon he and I, and Rifter refers to Zeus, probably turn a few heads at any local, undesirables event.
You're going to have a hard time finding those kinds of things. The threat of gating is rather efficient at deterring any open harm or open undesirables, as you would put it.
Really? I don't know why I always assume this is the kind of place where that'd be easy to find.
Sternhoff, I think it might be best just if you accompany me. I didn't hear much about it, but I heard that at least some casters have to be registered through the Court of Sea. Or if not have to be, they handle that sort of thing, so if we head down to the docks to inquire with our sailor friends, then we could potentially take care of multiple things at the same time.
Good.
Then I would say you, Lorik, and Strunhoff head to the Court of Sea. Rifter and Dyer. Normally I would make some snarky comment to you, Dyer. Not Dyer, Zeus. Wow, brain.
Is that a Darius mistake or a...
No, that was a me mistake.
Okay.
Because specifically, normally I would make a snarky comment to you, Zeus, about keeping on track, but I'm sure you understand that I don't need to.
Yes.
Head to the Court of Heavens and find work, something that we can get a little bit of money, and while you're there, try and catch ears, listen out, make sure you're watching for things that are changing, different. It doesn't even need to necessarily be about my people, but all changing things, all events tend to coincide in some way, be it through people spreading them or spreading news of them, regardless. And I will head to the Court of Man to try and find more about the general situation of what happened.
Alright.
Understood.
Seems easy enough.
Sounds
Ready
like
when you
a
are,
good plan
Sternhoff.
to me.
What's that?
Ready to head out to the docks when you are, Sternhoff.
We can head out now.
Alright.
Darius will also make his way out.
Zeus will also start heading out.
Just as
Can
enough,
everybody type in
Rifter's got
chat
houses.
which region they're going to?
Sure.
Give me one moment.
Do you have to draw lots on who gets the spotlight first?
Yes.
Draw lots on who gets gold.
Oh, that chat.
No.
I was like, where the fuck are all these things happening?
Yeah, we just have a secret group chat for the rest of us that you're not invited to.
I was like, damn, everyone found out Zeus is gonna kill them all. No, this is my fault.
Hey, that's campaign 3 spoilers.
Well,
Zeus is the big bad.
we're starting with Darius. Darius, tell me about your, as you head into the region of the city for the Court of Man. It's generally, as opposed to many of the spots that you might expect in more of the Empire, or even the northern parts of the kingdom. Well, I guess you wouldn't expect anything. You've been here, so as opposed to everyone else's conception if they ever pass through, rather than being plenty of stalls or like building side avenues, it's instead a series of illustrious gardens, each one properly cultivated in the intricate terracing of it, creating almost a very gently flowing maze that gives you plenty of access to multiple stories of different stores, each selling their own goods or being able to easily get transportation from one area to the next in a little bit of a harmonious way with nature. What are you doing as you wander through these streets?
He is trying to get basically to the core man, but he's all.
You are cutting out. Is he cutting out, or is it just me?
Chad has died.
Okay, so it is him. It is him. Okay. All right, swap over. Time to go to Rifter and Zeus.
Hey,
Can't believe Chad died of Ligma.
I can.
Who's Steve Jobs?
Ligma balls.
So, tell me about your, how do the two you chat at all as you are now on your lonesome as you begin to attempt to find your way to heaven?
So Rifter has a very awkward expression on his face. He tries his best to get Zeus in casual conversation, like, yeah, just you and me. We can make this work, right?
Yes. What kind of job do you think we should take?
To be honest, it's been a while since I had an honest job. Figure anything that involves, high-skilled work. I could probably, I don't know, fix something, or I could be a server again. He does not relish the thought.
Hopefully, if there's anything that can maybe test our skills, I would prefer that. Training should start promptly, I should think, to get ourselves ready for what's coming. But should nothing else come, you might be stuck this server, I guess.
I just hope they don't force me to be that. I would prefer to cook than I would prefer to serve. At least if you cook, you don't have to deal with the customers.
Do you know any recipes?
Very basic, fancy foods. Back when I was a kid, they would have me work in the back. Very basic, very generic, salads, let me see, and he ponders to try to remember what other foods, pasta at one point, there was that pie dish, no, blimey, this is gonna suck.
Zeus gives not as hearty of a laugh as I just did, but a little bit of a chuckle. Maybe we'll have to test your skills at some point. Could be good. At least maybe bring up the mood some.
As you're beginning to start to pass through some of the more entertainment-y area, a drunken patron stumbles out one of the bars, points at Rifter and says, "Hey, bird! Hey!" and sort of waving you over.
He looks very annoyed, but he's willing to see what the fuck this is about.
Is this a motivated act? Do we need to take some action?
Can I help you?
Are you a God, but Kenku? That's the one, right?
Yes, that is what I am.
Would you mind coming in and there's a dispute, and we heard that you got good memory. If somebody tries to back out of their word, can you help us with that real quick?
Rifter blanks. You sure? And he looks at Zeus like, like he's kind of like, oh, I didn't expect it to be that easy.
Zeus wants to kind of like read into this guy to see if he's telling the truth or if this is going to be like a, hey, come in and then we jump you.
I mean, go ahead and roll.
follow.
He's pretty damn drunk, and it seems sincere. It does not seem like he would have the capacity to be trying to lie right now.
All right, that's good. Zeus is going to be like, how much would our cut be for ensuring this goes smoothly?
He just blinks. What?
You want us for helping this interaction goes smoothly?
Oh.
Are you payment?
I don't. Hey, Giro!
This is good.
Amazing.
Oh, give me. He leans over. You hear him talking a little bit, making out a few words in a different language that neither of you speak, and he's like, "Well, it'll only be like, I don't know, 10 minutes. How much you want?"
I'm gonna see if I can swindle this fuck. Using my most regal impersonation of a noble, I say, "Good sir, my time is of the essence. I am a very important man with many a business to deal with. My time is 5 gold per minute."
You can go ahead and give me a roll if you want of persuasion.
Persuasion. Please.
Please. Let him cook.
Well, it's very funny because
that.
that was okay. I mean, clueless, but okay. Go ahead and re-roll.
Wait. What do you mean by clueless? That's a nat one.
Clueless.
No, not about the nat one. Before the nat one. Clueless.
What do you mean?
They don't use gold here.
Oh, god damn it!
Clueless.
Okay. Well, I guess it doesn't matter then. I'm just gonna take the nat one. So yeah, what does he say in retaliation to that, I guess?
They laugh a little bit about it. They're like, you're a funny guy, Birdman. It's a good joke, and would you talk like that?
I have many voices that I have collected over many years.
Unfortunately, I don't know if he's collected a voice that has said the currency here yet, maybe.
Rifter snaps and he says, "Precisely."
Alright, if you, sure, well, 5 scripts, fine. Alright.
Hooray! 5
Teamwork.
scripts per minute. Okay, in that case, I'm gonna head inside. Let's see what these chucklefucks want.
Hell yeah. Zeus is backing him up.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Roll me 4, maybe roll me 4d4.
4d4? Okay.
Roll of 44.
Yeah, it takes 10 minutes, so you end up getting 50 script.
Let's go!
The complication comes in a little bit near the end. There's a part where one of them tries to say something, the one who's less drunk, like, and more sober, to the other one, where they try to say something that to you chicks a little bit of an alarm bell of a, hey, that's not really exactly what he said. What do you choose to do?
I pause and I go, and I repeat what he said precisely. I guess in character would be, hey, I think that we should go to the diner at night, is what he said, actually. Something like that. Whatever the context.
The one who's drunk just sort of, his eyes just roll straight upwards. No, yeah, he's right, and he just.
Wow.
I knew it was a choice. It was a choice. Yeah.
It was a choice.
Don't you forget it, as he points at the other dude. The general deal with the entire situation, with what you've surmised, is that they're trying to get a few replacements set up after a lot of their previous caravanners left, and the terms were trying to be established for it, such that they could actually, like, you know, how the profits are going to be split, what's going to be the setup at the start, those sorts of things. And you have done your part, and he's like, all right, hey, Grania, how long was that? Gaio? And he just turns around and looks over his shoulder and then over the other shoulder.
Oh no! Did the guy run with the money he was supposed to pay us? Oh,
Hey,
kill him.
and he looks to you. How long was that?
Rifter is going to look down at his hand as if he has a watch. And then he's going to say, "It appears that it would have been 15 minutes of my time."
Rifter cooking. I like this.
Let him cook.
He holds up some of his fingers. He like swaps them around, and he's like, "No, I was only 16. No, wait, no."
Yeah,
No,
it was.
okay,
Yes, it was
no,
only 16. You are correct.
Yeah, it was. Okay.
Cousin was always right.
Oh, indeed. It would appear to be 16.
Yeah. Okay, and he searches through, and he ends up handing you a few small tokens that have numbers on them. You have no idea how to read it, but he says it's 75 script.
Okay, well, can I insight check to see if he at least believes that he's telling the truth?
Yes,
did
he
fortunate
does.
thing,
That is a very obvious tell.
Okay.
You don't need to roll
in
for
that
that.
case. Alright, in that case, Rifter's just going to be like, "My good man, thank you." And Rifter looks at Zeus and he shakes his eye, like he raises his eyebrows, like his eye feathers, I guess, would be the appropriate term.
So true.
I always have faith that you will be able to get us through such dubious situation. During the 10 minutes while this is going down, Zeus is going to have had full trust in Rifter. Can Zeus be kind of like ears up, listening around for any updates or things going on?
Sure. Well, not good.
Oh, lucky.
I should have waited too. Fuck. Anyways. Oh no, it doesn't matter. It's a nat one. Never mind.
Man, did you hear that thing about all those changeling fuckers? I fucking hate those changelings.
Rifter, I think this place is, pardon my language, racist as fuck.
I would agree.
Can you believe that son of a bitch cucked my wife with me as what he was? That fucking bitch.
That fucking bitch. That fucking bitch. True.
You'd be surprised how many times that actually happens.
Oh my god.
Usually it's a paid service, though.
Rifter looks in shock at his compatriot and he says, "You're a gigolo, mate."
Oh, no. I have, I've heard through the Thieves Guild, other people do things.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm, sure.
I have to be up on these other businesses. Shut the fuck up.
Rifter, putting, like, cross-eyeing goes, "A changeling fucked my wife!"
That one's going in his deep memory catalog.
Yeah.
A new core memory.
And he will remember that.
New Rifter dialogue tree has been unlocked.
Rifter will remember that.
I guess we have the money. Would it be fitter still to visit deeper in? Or, I guess maybe helping out Darius and figuring out any information we can with the matters.
Yes, I believe it would be most beneficial if we were to snoop around, as they say.
You want to do a bit of a co-op version of this mission, or split up, get information, regroup?
Rifter nods.
Yes.
Okay.
We
and then from
will
there,
cut away for a moment.
Yeah.
Got you.
All right, Lorik, Schoenhoff, the two of you are heading back to the pirate ship of Yi to both start getting some of the info on the unloading of the goods and the trade of goods to the city, as well as seeing if there's any requirements currently for arcane casters.
Okay.
Which of the two tasks will you pursue first?
Well, it's up to you, Schoenhoff.
Is it entirely necessary to have to register as a mage in the town?
I don't necessarily know, but if we're going to be spending any significant amount of time here, I don't necessarily want to risk it.
I suppose that's fair. And what of the ship? Should be
That I don't know.
Quick question to the party.
Yes.
When Darius ended up convincing them for him to be sort of their not elected captain, not captain, the whole like gigolo thing, who did y'all decide was, is Lorik second in command for that?
thought it was the mouse.
Yeah, that's probably reasonable. All right, either way, continue.
So, we'll get to both, I imagine, unless something else awful happens, but really just which one do we want to do first?
Let's check on the ship first.
Alright, that seems reasonable.
A quick, you know what? Roll me a flat d20. Let's see how much of it's gone through.
I'll roll it. It's rolling. Slowly. Okay.
Is it? Oh, hey, one of them's just not loading anymore. That's okay. So that's 35% has been done. So they end up giving you the current unload processing, which is 9,300 script.
Nice.
So, as someone who is not familiar with this place, how does the script roughly compare to conversion rates with other currencies like gold? Is a script roughly worth a copper, or is it something else entirely?
The crew that you asked there doesn't know, but they know that like one of the other people on the ship did. They go and talk to it after a quick back and forth and understanding about how it is. It's about 1,000 or so per gold, somewhere in that ballpark. So that's like the best estimate for that would be around like 6.5 gold. It's like 1.3, 1.4k per gold.
All right.
Jesus.
Oh, glad I... Thank you for the information, and I will relay this to Darius as soon as I can. While I'm here, is there anything I can help with?
He looks over to see some of the big lads of the crew lifting up and hauling some of the things. Nah, don't think so.
All right then. Well,
He gives a big smile.
Oh no.
Best
waves
luck
you
with the
off.
rest.
So yeah, if the party chooses to check back in later, you'll end up having around 24. Well, we'll just say 17,000 extra from there.
Based. Alright, well, that went more quickly than I anticipated. Shall we check in with the court itself then, Schönhoff?
Sure.
Alright, now... You know, before I left, I should have actually asked them where the court was. I'll be right back, one moment. Lork is going to ask where an office for the Court of Sea would actually be.
They point you to the direction of one of the almost lighthouse-like structures, one where it's just a quayside structure.
Thank you. After you, Sternhoff.
And I walk through the open doors to the office. What is the place like?
For the most part, pretty empty. In terms of real world comparisons, it would be a little bit like a tourist shop where there's a few different trinkets and baubles all around, and a single person who probably doesn't get paid enough just sits behind the counter and tries to straighten themselves up and become professional looking as you enter.
God, that's a mood.
Hello, how can I help you?
Hi, I was told that I need to register here as a mage.
Register, not quite, but you're not too far off. I understand if you're new in town, you could get that perception. Just a little bit of info, just if you could tell me, first of all, do you have any script on you? If not, we could do a trade with any of the other, some of the other currencies if you need it.
That for any additional exchange fees?
I just have the rates that are set out by the boss. Yeah, all we need is just a slight processing fee of 30 script, and we'll just get some basic info about you, and we'll provide you some a few pieces of documentation to both let you know some of the simple rules based on whatever you're using, and in case somebody gives you any trouble for it.
In that case, I'll pay out the script since it's basically negligible.
Yeah, we used to have a problem where a guy just kept requesting something every day, so we had to put something on it.
I see.
He's back a second time. Yeah, you give up the 20 script. He asks you, first off, your name.
Schönhoff.
And the type of magic.
Lightning and thunder.
Alright. He goes through, he pulls out two pieces of documentation, pinches them together. There's a little bit of fire magic between his fingers as he does that sears the three sheets together. He gives you a tiny thing that's both lists that, and the secondary two ones are just a few simple rules about lightning and thunder magic on what is it socially acceptable and what is not socially acceptable within the city.
And can I read through that?
Yeah. They're if it comes up, I will let you know. But for the most part, it's simple stuff like if you're doing thunder, keep it minimalized, because it is a very disrupting thing to ongoers. Even if it doesn't hurt them directly, it, like, you know, burdens.
Noise ordinances.
Yeah, stuff like that. If you're culpable to any fires that happen if you do it, and you have a responsibility to attempt to put them out, those sorts of things.
Okay.
Stuff that you would expect would be in the Empire, but for some reason isn't.
The Mages Guild lobbied to not have those restrictions.
That was his weakness. That was his mistake.
I should probably also register as well.
Similar
Lork's one.
situation, name.
Lork.
Alright. Casting type.
Divine magic.
Healing or other? Or both?
Both.
Alright. Grabs 3 documents, adds them to the 4th for your personal little identification stuff, sears them together, gives a similar list. The only thing that strikes you as particularly odd is one involving if you do attempt to hurt somebody who's wounded with healing magic, you need to make sure you commit fully. If you start to heal them and then they die later, you'll be considered culpable. But if you start, you need to actually like commit to it fully. That's about the only one.
Are there provisions made for this if they are immediately brought back with short-term resurrection magic?
He just shrugs. Honestly, I've never heard any problems with it. There was a little funny case where somebody tried to be like, hey, I'm tired after he brought me back to life. That's against the rules. And of course, it was all, you know, kind of bupkis, but at the end of the day, like, there's not really too much violence in the city in the first place, so I doubt you'll have too much of a problem. Nobody gets hurt, nobody goes missing. It's relatively peaceful.
That makes sense. Thank you for the information.
Of course. Anything else I can do for you?
No, as far as I can tell. Mr. Chernoff, you have anything?
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Court of the Sea?
Sure. Just basic introduction, or any particular questions? Because if so, he stands up, moves a little bit to his left, and rummages around one of the cabinets behind him and pulls out a little brochure giving a basic rundown of A Beginner's Guide to Dhuugaan.
Yeah, this'll do for now. Thank you.
That seems rather useful.
Do the other courts also hand these out?
Some of them do. Heaven doesn't much care for it. Like, they consider themselves a little too busy. Man definitely does. The other ones I'm not so sure on.
All right.
Enjoy your stay.
Thank you. And thank you again for the information.
They give a deep bow.
In leaving, I'm start going through the brochure.
It's very publicized and almost propagandized, but that's kind of to be expected.
Yeah.
What a wonderful city where nothing bad ever happens.
Life could be a dream.
Life could be a dream.
Anything that sticks out, or just all mostly nonsense?
Want to roll a d20 or an insight?
Either one.
Yeah,
So insight or 20.
either one. Sure. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of silliness. It's a lot of goofballery, but you've got a decent understanding of just the general situation going on in the city, and there's a few maps that'll help get you pointed in the right direction as well. One for the entirety of the city and one for the upper district.
Showing
So-
the map to Lorik, I asked, does any of this look interesting to you?
This your DM, man. Would any of it look interesting to Lorik?
What's something that would interest Lorik?
Well, he does have an intention of at some point visiting the Court of Heaven, but aside from that, just general, oh, this might look neat sort of stuff.
Party arc. Yeah.
Huh?
You get the general idea. There's obviously a few spots that if it weren't for the obliqueness of the situation could be an interesting place to relax or an interesting place to see the culture in some of the theaters and stuff. The continued pushing narrative is that it's a work hard, play hard situation.
Interesting.
Like, if you're allowed to be a bit of a wastrel if you want in your off time, but if you end up getting in the way of people who are working, that's just generally kind of sucks. Things need to run smoothly, or you're not really allowed to be a part of it. And as such, tourism is very well welcomed as long as you don't end up being a bitch.
Yeah, just don't be a bitch.
Bringing more commerce into the city itself. Alright, do we want to see if we can meet back up with the others then? Assuming we can find them.
Should we look at the Court of Heaven then?
I suppose we can't really go amiss with that.
We are going to go back to Zeus and Rifter for just a moment, then we're going to catch up with Darius for a bit.
Fine.
Alright. So, Rifter, Zeus, the two of you have just gotten out and you're like, sick, we got 75.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Well, because Rifter and Zeus both believe that that's a lot of money, at this point we're looking for info.
Looking for the stock exchange. We're good.
Yeah. Both of you give me perceptions.
info.
Both of you give me perceptions.
Okay. Alright, great. Double rogue perception.
You're on the air.
Oh no.
I'm going
Oh,
to
no.
psionic die my.
Wait. That may not be necessary.
Okay.
I mean, it's still his choice.
Okay. Yeah, if you want it, you can.
The
but I
question is,
25.
what do
Back at
the
the end of the
two?
day, so.
What do the two of you want? What do the two of you find interesting right now?
I am looking for information about the Yuan Ti, because I am a serious businessman. Also, Rifter is a greedy fuck, so if there are any other easy ways to make money, he's probably gonna look for those.
Gotcha.
Zeus is. Oh, sorry. Do that first.
No, you first. It's
Okay.
probably better to get both parts.
Zeus is going to also look for Yuan Ti stuff, and then also just any other like Darius was saying, any other things that are happening, like changing
Gotcha,
or like new
okay.
things going on.
you're able to catch up more on about how the departure of the Yuan Ti around like a week, 2 weeks ago has really started to put a dent in things, because as much as there was a lot of resentment around them for the occasional time where every few months there's a political incident, at the end of the day they were very efficient about leaving the city running, and they were considered kind of secondary, in a positive way. They were secondary citizens, because most people aren't even secondary citizens. All right, they were
least racism.
Right, exactly. They were least racism. Let's go with that. Or to put it in a proper way, the culture of the Yuan Ti when it came to the business ordeal was very in keeping with what the city desired, and as such they ingratiated themselves in it very well, and all the more reason why many people have ranging emotions from confused to angry to just plain like upset, and others being a little bit grateful that everybody just up and left and just started walking away in a single night.
Well, dang.
Zeus, as you're going through, you overhear an individual shouting out, "Get your fortune! Get your fortune!"
This sounds good.
17,
What's their
just 17
sign?
script.
7. Oh no. I guess
would you mind making me a history check real quick?
Yes, certainly. I'm gonna bump that up.
Okay.
That's
Alright.
16.
With a 16, you recall that back in the bar, the exact price for a beer was 17 script. It may or may not be a coincidence.
Oh. So I guess, is Zeus holding on to the money, or is Rifter currently holding on to the...
Rifter would be holding on to the money, but
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can ask him.
Yeah, Zeus will find Rifter and be like, two things. A, I don't know if we actually have that much money. No, wait. It's like a number of drinks. Hold on, I'm not good at that.
What are you talking about?
So a drink was 15, 17. Fuck, I'm getting all my numbers mixed up. So we have 75. So that's like 4 drinks, 4 to 5 drinks. That's how much money we currently have on us. But could I borrow 17? There's a fortune teller over there, and I feel...
I mean, it's apparently just worth a fucking beer. Yeah, sure, I'll buy you a beer.
Thank you. Very much. Do you want to... We can also talk about what we found so far. Do you want to visit this fortune teller? Could be fun.
I mean, last time I went to a fortune teller, I got that card. You know the one. So, maybe she'll give me another.
Maybe. It could be very useful for us. Let's go check it out. They're going to wander over. Or Zeus is going to wander over.
Yeah. Rifter's gonna go with him. Or Rifter's gonna go with him, yeah.
Yeah. Hello. I would like to partake in your service.
I would like to partake in the fortune-telling business.
Very subtle.
I would like to partake in your services.
I would like to imbibe in your services.
What exactly are you offering?
There's a hobgoblin woman in front of you, one with a little bit softer skin, one that leans more towards a pink. She has a veil over her eyes that stops about halfway down past her nose, like in between her nose and her mouth. There's a few bits of not really jewelry, but ornate craftsmanship around that, sort of like pearls or little bits of ivory. And she invites you upstairs if you are to if you really do want to partake in her services.
What a way to phrase things.
Takes me upstairs to partake in her services. Hey, yeah.
Rifter looks at Zeus as they begin to go up, and he just shrugs and he fucking rolls with it.
You know, I think I remember hearing this about the certain changelings that did things and they they were done.
I wouldn't let her catch that in your shot.
Fair enough. I said it in thieves' cant.
I wouldn't beans on that beans with the beans.
I've heard they take beans upstairs all the time.
I grow them up there all the time.
Sometimes somebody will put up a scrying bean just to watch in.
God.
You head upstairs into a small room, one that's probably only like 6 feet by like 4 feet deep in area. She says, for one of you or for both of you?
Rifter, would you like to as well? I guess that would be blowing more of our money. But
It ain't that much anyway. We can earn more of this in a bit. Yeah, sure, the both of us.
She looks at Zeus. Would you mind waiting out here for just a moment, dear?
certainly, no problem.
She slides the curtain back to allow Rifter, and there's only 2 small chairs with a table in the middle and a few cabinets behind on one side, the side that she sits at.
Okay. Well, he's gonna go ahead and just sit down, and he just kind of taps on the table and twiddles his thumbs, not really sure what to do.
As you're twiddling your thumbs,
Her thumbs, whoa!
yes, as you twiddle her thumbs, you reach out and grab her. She reaches out and grabs your thumbs and pushes them down onto the table for a moment. And she looks at some of your claws and asks you if you know where you're from.
I'm from the Empire.
She smiles a little bit and she says, then do you know where your family is from?
He's trying to think. Mom lived there for quite a bit. Family on that side was, you know, pretty standard, but I don't really know where my dad comes from. Suppose I never got the chance to ask him.
She very gently pushes your beak a little bit to the side and tries looking at the side of your head before standing up and going through a few of the shelves before eventually pulling out one, and she says, well, I've got you narrowed down to one of 2, and she starts shaking the box a little bit. Do you feel a stronger connection to the wind or to the earth?
I guess to the earth.
She puts the box that she had grabbed back in the shelf and grabs the other one. Inside, there's a rattling of small ornate objects. She puts them into 2 pouches, gives one to you, and takes one herself.
Rifter's going to kind of shake the pouch or whatever it is just to see what it is.
It's a familiar sound. It is a bit of a clacking of bones.
Rifter looks at it in surprise and he says,
What is this contraption?
You splay the bones across the table at the same time I do, and together we create the story of your future, one partly made and interpreted by my presence here, but more so by yours.
Interesting. You are a much different storyteller than I remember.
and he is gonna go ahead and prepare the bag when he can.
And she gives you a basic instruction on how to do it, which is quite simply Just make sure you get every bone out, otherwise it's bad luck. But otherwise, do it in whichever way you feels right.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I feel like I just totally missed what you said.
Make sure that when you empty it, you get all of the bones out as you lay it across the table, and otherwise do it in whichever way feels right to you.
Okay, in that case, Rifter is going to grab the back of the bag and hold it open, and he's going to kind of just drizzle it across when it's ready. I'm assuming that it's time. Until eventually he's holding it like in one hand and dropping all of the bones as he like moves back and forth like in a drizzle motion.
She does a similar action, sort of mirroring you. There's a few points where the bones clash and intersect. And she begins to pluck away the ones that aren't at that intersection and reading them. Would you mind rolling me 5d6?
5d6? I've rolled many a d6. 19.
She gives you, forced off a little bit of history to see how well that lines up. In that recent times have been a little bit struggling when it comes to not yourself, but those around you. The time in the current will be one where you're going to push forward and attempt to break through with a degree of success. In the future is one which will be drastically changed based on your actions in the present. Not one that is set either way, but one that is determined by a few very key actions in the coming days. Ones that will set you up for the rest of your life.
Well, I can't say that's inaccurate, but I'd rather say that this isn't particularly helpful. I think I already knew this.
Oh, this is just part one. She scoops them up and grabs out a second one and just puts a small plate on the table and asks you to put your hands on it.
He does so.
She does the same, does a few things. Would you mind giving me an insight real quick?
Okay. Don't scuff, don't scuff, don't scuff.
Don't scuff.
Not scuffed.
Yeah. It feels a little bit like a dry read, but also a little bit not, where she's understanding that you're having a few personal conflicts with who you are as a person, that you've recently you've found your satisfaction and you're trying to redefine yourself, and that the course of action she suggests is to embrace those around you. That it's okay to trust others.
Well, I appreciate that for what it's worth. Which is apparently 17 script.
So true.
If that is all for her reading, Rifter is going to leave.
It is, and she wishes you a great day, and that you that your success with your friends brings wisdom and truth.
Rifter bows a very deep bow, and he simply says, "Thank you." And he's going to leave, and he looks at Zeus, and he just says, "You're up."
Oh, was it, I don't want to say worth it, but...
It's worth about a beer, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Zeus will go ahead and head back. Oh, Zeus, the last thing Zeus is going to say to Rifter, very quietly in his ear before he goes back, is going to be, look around to see if anybody might have left any coin around the corners here or anything.
He nods, and he is going to try to find any spare coins.
Pog.
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 And then Zeus goes,
Paste, pog, paste.
She's, as you head on over, she's gonna ask, Tiefling, do you happen to know your ancestral heritage? I had to guess you're... Are you a Glacia or a Dispata?
Zeus is going to use psychic whispers to make a link into her mind and just be like, without obviously moving his mouth, and just be like, "How about you take a guess?"
I'm sorry, dear. That doesn't help me. I'm not very familiar with many of them. I just assumed because of the blue.
Oh, fair. I'm which were the two that you said?
I mean, here's the thing. Are you just gonna lie?
I know. Well, he's thinking about it. Zeus is. I guess Zeus will be maybe a little bit more truthful. He'll just kind of be like, I prefer my parts of my identity to remain a bit more secret, but. And then he'll like shift his hand around into different forms to show that he's a changeling.
Ah. Do not see many of you this far north. What? It's good to have you here. I hope your days are safe. She moves through, she grabs some clay and begins to push it out on the table, forming a few distinct patterns. She hands you a blindfold and a few and a stick in each hand.
He'll put on the blindfold.
She guides your hands, and you begin to form a picture upon the clay. Would you mind rolling me 5d6?
Sure.
5D's nuts, more like it.
5D's nut, true.
Oh, wow. Close to what I rolled.
Would you mind giving me an insight real quick?
Yeah, sure.
At first, as she's doing it, she's still has the gentle smile that you see as like the mouth still being very clearly visible is present, but the lack of context with some of the eyes gives it a bit of disturbing moments just as she's staring down into it. She's tracing her finger along some of the paths, and pretty quickly, as she's slowing down and the smile's starting to fade a little bit, she says, "I'm sorry for your loss, you need to leave." And she pulls out, she gives you the 17 back and moves into some of her other cabinets and starts putting a little bit of powder on the ground.
I'm sorry. Has something gone wrong?
She's very focused on her task and is pushing into you to try to get you out. If you need help, there's others in the court of heaven that are more capable to deal with this than I.
I believe I'm at least owed a bit of an explanation before I'm pushed
If I
out.
explain it, it makes it worse.
It doesn't. Can you write it?
Please. Before and she's starting to actively just push you through the curtains.
At this point, he can sense it's like bad, and he'll start walking out. I hope I haven't troubled you too much. And he'll start leaving and kind of wave Rifter with him too, like very quickly.
Rifter basically heads outside after it, talks a little bit with the Zeus. Zeus heads in. Rifter, you start looking around for a few seconds, being like, "Man, I wonder what kind of people like are doing it this time of day." And only about like 20 seconds later, Zeus steps out and is waving you off.
Oh, are we all right?
Well, apparently I've made a very bad impression. We should get out of here before talking further.
Damn it! How did you mess this up already?
Well, apparently I'm some kind of omen of bad or something.
Do you reckon she could sense more sensitive information?
Well, she said sorry for your loss.
That ain't good. Alright, well, yeah, I reckon we should do what she asked.
Fair. Also here, and he's going to hand back his 17 that he received back.
Oh,
you go ahead and
sweet.
hold on to this.
He will do exactly that. From there, yeah, they're gonna piss off, and they're gonna look for employment elsewhere. And from there, I'm sure we can transfer over to other
Zeus,
characters.
What's your point of view right now, given that she said, like, basically you need help at the Court of Heaven? Are you going to attempt to override Rifter's attempts here?
Oh, give me time to think about it. Well, we jump over to Darius.
Darius already in the Court of Heaven.
Oh.
Wasn't he going to the Court of Men?
Yes.
Was he?
He could also
Yeah.
have gone to the Court of Heavens. I don't mind either way.
Okay. Manco.
Just to verify one more time, the Court of Man is, I feel like I would know some baseline about it, right?
I mean, yeah, you almost certainly would. The big thing that Court of Man does is they're the ones who are default mercantilism, standard trade, mostly internal more than external. It's not so much the logistics of getting goods in or out of the city or anything like that, as it is making sure that business conducted within the city is safe, is legal, that people are getting their part, that taxes are getting paid, that individuals are being compensated for their work,
IRS.
those sorts of things.
I don't care who the IRS
The IRS.
I don't care who the TCM sends, I'm not paying taxes.
Who the Court of Man?
Yes. It's a translation thing. In
I see.
Hobgoblin, the T stands for something else.
Who the IRS says I am not paying taxes.
The
Hi,
button
Dan.
that kills
I'm a
Will
supermodel.
Smith.
I just moved in next door.
What's it gonna do?